Welcome to the March 14th meeting of the Concord Historical Commission. My name is Alan Bogosian. I'm the chair of the commission. We have two other members here. We're calling the meeting to order. And will the members please identify themselves? Melissa?
Melissa Solfield, present.
Jessie Cataldo, present.
And I'm Alan Bogosian. The agenda for today is a couple of items. We will be discussing the Concord Historical Commission's roster and the members. And the second thing will be discussing warrant article 41. With that in mind, let's pick up the first order of business, discussing the increased membership of the Concord Historical Commission. Do you want to mention something, Melissa, about that, or?
So as I understand it, we presently have two associates. I just want to understand the ground rules. Presently, we have two, but we are allowed, based on the state statute, allowed to go up to 5 associate or alternate members, which would be the same number as full-time members. And right now, Jessie and Nancy Frizella Lee are associate members, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Right. And Jessie has expressed a desire to step down for now, because we hope she comes back, but has agreed to stay on until we can replace her. So that theoretically allows us 4 people, and we happen to have 4 candidates, all of whom I think are highly qualified. I mean, some really, and I guess that's what we're going to talk about. I mean, I'd be interested in what Nancy and Jessie and you have to say, but I don't know all of them personally, but I've a couple of them, and I can recommend the 2 certainly that I know, and the others' resumes are pretty powerful. So, well, 3, yeah. I know 3 of them. I take it back. Yeah. I know 3 of them.
And I think we have green cards or applications from the town for 4 people or 5 people.
4. Well, so there's Doug Ellis, Lauren Meyer, Beth Van Duzer, and Dan Frost.
Cool.
And speaking on behalf of Doug, so I know that Doug is very much involved with the history of the Masonic Lodge. He's been their historian. He's worked with a lot of projects with Bob Gross. He's an active member of the Concord Minutemen, as well as the what do they call, the 1814 Marine Guard. So he does a lot with the USS Constitution. Dan, I think you all saw his letter. He's not a professional historian. He's a professional in his own painting company, but has worked on a number of historic properties. And then Beth Van Duzer is what I guess I would consider a public historian, and has done a lot of work. I've actually had her present for the Historical Topics Forum on a number of occasions. She also has been very instrumental in the whole investigation research project for the Civil War Monument. And I believe, she makes her living as an historian. And then I think all of you saw Lauren Meyer's really fabulous resume, particularly her work with the National Park Service and Frederick Law Olmsted Center. Nancy Nelson can speak to her more, but I think she would be just an amazing addition as the landscape historian. I think we're very fortunate to have such good candidates. So, I mean, I personally would nominate all 4, given what Jessie's expressed.
Mm-hmm. So would we review each of the each of the individual applications or um and discuss each of them individually and then vote on them, or do we I wish that Nancy was here so we could get her input as well.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm gonna send her a text. Yeah,
but should we talk about the individual applications, Anne? I can't remember what it was even when I applied, or Chessie, even when you applied, um were we put on the hot seat or anything, or did we
um,
just
I
Oh.
came to a meeting. I came to a meeting and we talked.
right?
Is my recollection. But I also agree with Melissa that these resumes are just amazing.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe these resumes speak for themselves, but
Yeah, I mean, I would like to, nominate these people and then invite them to the meeting on the 28th of March.
oh, that makes sense. I think
I
that
think
makes sense.
that's a good idea. We happen to have 4 slots. We have 4 people.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work like that. I just texted Nancy, I haven't heard from her. Don't know. I mean, that's what I would recommend. I agree with that. And then,
And I just talked to Nancy and reminded her, so she'll be coming in very soon to the meeting.
Okay.
But she would be a little bit late. So.
I see one more person there, Carlin Reed. There's no hands up, but we could make a motion on this, on the 4 applicants. Or
okay, so I move that we nominate our 4 applicants for associate membership, which would be Beth Van Duzer, Lauren Meyer, Dan Frost, and Doug Ellis, and to become associate members of the Historical Commission.
and have them come to the meeting on the 28th of
Yeah,
March.
and propose that they join us at the meeting in 2 weeks. Right, in
In
2
2
weeks.
Yeah.
Again, and then we did, okay, that's my motion. Need a second.
And second,
So all in,
did Chessie second
Jesse,
it?
Jesse,
Yes,
All in favor?
I'm in favor.
Okay, all in favor, Chessie,
Yes.
Melissa,
yes,
and myself, yes. Okay. So now
So-
we can, go ahead.
well, I just had a thought, also, when I think when I did it with you, Alan, when you took over as chair, and I guess when Chessie came on board and when Ryan too, I made it, made it a point to sit down with you and talk about what we were doing. I was thinking, with these 4 people, maybe we could divide it up, if you would talk to somebody so that each of us has an opportunity to meet personally with them and kind of help introduce where we are. Because it's a steep learning curve. I mean, I feel like all these committees and commissions, your first 3 years are learning what's going on.
It's,
And that's
It's-
hard. It's
a very steep learning curve. Absolutely. Yeah, I can attest to that.
yeah. So, I mean, maybe in the next 2 weeks when we meet with them, you could assign one of us to, agree to meet privately, because if we're just 2 people, that's not a quorum and we're not violating the open meeting
Right.
law.
Okay. Why don't I get together with Ann, tomorrow or Monday, and then we'll split them up, and then you and I can get together and do that.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just making a note. Okay. Should we move on to the second one or wait till Nancy calls in?
Yeah. Well, we could, we could start, by just saying, to kind of update Chessie, Alan and I have met with the leadership of the DEI committee, 3 times?
Yes,
I think it's been
at
3
least two.
times. And honestly, I can't say that I feel any closer to what they're specifically what they are seeking than the very first time. I mean, the last session, they asked us to create some statement about inclusion. But it was very vague on their part. And so I'm thinking, as we have said to them on multiple occasions, we are expanding our membership so that we have more people who can work on different kinds of projects. We're actively engaged in a preservation plan that will review our charter anyway. That the folks working with us, our consultants, are also tasked with working to identify research and help us, with a plan in the future to address the inadequate research that we've done for the Indigenous people, the Blacks, women, immigrants. I think those are areas of our written history that we've had in our last preservation plan that was insufficient. So we are doing that. I think one of their objections, not so much to us, I hadn't heard, but I think in the documentation that the HDC had, their old administrative code, I think referred to chairman, words like that. Well, we don't use that anymore. We use chair. I don't think there's any sexist language that is part of our charter. So I don't know, Alan, but I just think whatever their objectives are, they're not that specific. I think but if it's what I think it is, which is to be more inclusive and diversify our activities, we are already geared up to do that.
And doing it even more so, working with the preservation consultants
Absolutely.
to the point where they're going to be delving into this in much more detail than we ever could, and make it much more inclusive because they're looking at the whole and all aspects of the town.
Yes.
To do this.
Yeah.
Not just the Historical District Commission or the Historical Commission, it's every aspect of the town of Concord.
Yeah. The one other thing that just to say that when you and I talked to them, so Chessie knows, they were interested in the membership that we explained that we were allowed to expand our membership, and we did consider a couple people who were with the Robbins House, but those folks are town employees, and you can't have a town employee as a part of a commission. So that disqualified them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, Liz Clayton, who I thought would be a good candidate, but as a town employee, she could not be considered.
Well, it sounds like even if the objectives were a little bit ambiguous, it sounds like it was successful in the sense that these issues are top of mind for everyone going into this preservation planning, and everyone's now more aware of where we can be more inclusive and where we can kind of correct things going forward. So I think that's always just a framework mindset shift. So I think that's a positive, even if there aren't sort of concrete things coming out of it.
Yeah, Nancy, can you hear us, Nancy?
Yep, I'm sitting in Ann's chair. Prepared for a virtual meeting.
And even in the other in our initial charter, there are some words, the chairman, which has been deleted and replaced with chairperson, which is already happening, and that's already being done.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is we, in our conversation with them, we, talked about, they're working with, they being one of the commissions, working with our preservation consultants. I mean, our consultants will be working with, obviously they'll talk to the HDC and probably the planning board. They have that whole list of stakeholders who they hope to be able to connect with, the DEI group being one of them. I don't see, I don't see the value of writing anything down. I just don't see and I don't see the value of their article.
Right, and I agree with that. It's not going to serve any specific or any purpose, because we're already involved and committed to doing what they want us to do, with the consultants.
Or what we think they want us to do, because again, it's vague.
I see. I think I'm missing. What does the article say exactly?
The Article 41 calls for the creation of a task force that would review the charge, protocols, policies, procedures of the Historical Commission and the Historic Districts Commission.
So it's a-
Okay, I didn't realize it was part of a warrant article. I thought, got it. Okay.
It's Article 41, right? Did you just read that, Melissa? Is that the one? Because
I didn't read it, but I'm pretty sure that's pretty close to what it says.
Okay,
can read
I
it
did
if
watch
you-
sorry, Alan, go ahead.
I can read it if you want.
Well, I think it's all coming together now. I watched the
Yep.
HDC meeting and I watched the discussion about how anything like this should be a holistic, there should be a holistic approach to all commissions and committees in town, and it should start at the select board level. Is that right? Rather than just starting with R2.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of, why just R2? I mean, I have been told it's because the Historical Commission in particular has the key to the story of Concord, but we are not an historical society. We have legitimate responsibilities that are spelled out in our creating legislation. It is to identify the historic resources, identify, protect, educate, recommend to the town leadership. But on our own, we have expanded. We understand that we need to tell a more accurate history, but I don't say that's the keeper of the story. I feel like if the objectives of the DEI group are, I would expect to be town-wide and affect all town committees and commissions.
Yep.
That makes sense to me too.
They have said this is a test case to see how it goes. And I also think it's a very large podium, bully pulpit town meeting. So I think that's another goal to get, their presence before town meeting.
Well, though they have expressed, well, can you share, Alan, what we learned from the HDC?
Let me look at is that well, there was a couple of, I think I can share that, Anne, right?
I think so, yes. I just sent it to you.
Yep. Let me see if I can dig this out. That's Nancy. I had it here. Hold on 1 second.
I mean, while you're looking, I mean, the other thing is just that by the time that task force gets assembled, our preservation consultants will be, I don't know, into step 3 or 4 of their plan, and which addresses these things. So it just seems like a waste of some I would assume, some talented people that they would hope to nominate for this task force.
Mm-hmm. The statements from the HDC is we would say collaboratively that, since we are already working together and making progress on long-held goals, which is what we are doing, everyone is doing that, there is no longer need for the task force called for in Article 41. And then the DEI Commission then withdraws the article.
That's
So
there.
that's their statement, right? Right.
Well, would they like us to, would they like us to sign on to their statement?
It's,
I think
I mean,
so.
I would propose that we sign on to their statement and make it be joint from the HDC and the CHC.
I guess we could probably do that in a motion.
I mean,
I think if we just support that language and write it down and reiterate it. What did you say, Alan? I didn't understand what you said about supporting the motion.
Oh, no, we could come up with a motion that we would support the Historical District Commission's language.
For a town meeting?
no, well,
Uh,
well, Monday, isn't there a,
Meeting right here today.
there's a meeting on Monday night. Monday night is up, it's going to be
Right.
presented at select board.
Right,
So I'm proposing that this statement, we present jointly.
yeah, I would support that.
Okay. Do you want me to read it again? We would say collaboratively that since we are already working together and making progress on long-held goals, there is no longer need for the task force called for in Article 41. The DEI Commission then withdraws their article.
So a question is this, this is from Dennis, but does he have, this is something the HDC has voted on?
Right, and the majority of the HTC members endorse this proposal, if the chair will forward it to the DEI Commissioner for their approval. So that's what they're proposing.
Well, then I propose for, I make a motion that the Historical Commission request to sign on to this statement, that it becomes a joint statement from the Historical Commission and the Historic Districts Commission
Yeah.
to present to the select board on Monday, March 18th.
I second that. I can vote.
Okay, let's take a vote. All in favor of Melissa's motion? And aye.
Jesse.
Aye.
I might add that because I checked with the town moderator and because this article is in the warrant officially, any member of town meeting can stand up and move the motion.
Yeah.
Or move the article.
Yeah.
So to just know that that could happen. But, and then it would go to town meeting for a vote if it was seconded.
Right.
And then there would be opportunity for discussion and debate.
From the
So-
town meeting. From the
Mhm.
town meeting.
That could happen.
Town meeting.
Okay.
And I wonder, the outstanding question in my mind is if they agree to withdraw it. I don't think the town moderator wouldn't say anything about it, is my recollection. So.
Oh, at town meeting?
They would have to contact the moderator.
So just the fact that we vote, if this gets voted down at town meeting, does it mean it's withdrawn at that point, or they have to withdraw it?
No, it's done. If town meeting votes against it, it's done.
It's done. Okay,
But what you're saying, Nancy, is say they do agree Monday to withdraw it. Still, because it's in the warrant, somebody could bring it up at town meeting, or if it's not brought up, town moderator's not gonna bring it up because to her mind, it's dead.
That's my understanding, yeah.
Okay,
But DEI, Joe would have to tell the moderator that they would support it being withdrawn. But I think there's no absolute way to remove it from the warrant, so.
Okay. Well, you know, so we may have to speak out again at town meeting.
Yeah, that's the only thing we need to be prepared to say something.
Right. Well, I'm sure both us and the Historic District Commission
Yeah.
will
Okay,
be, will be speaking if necessary, so.
so.
I'll arrange to be gone. Not. No,
And that
Well,
will be
I think-
Chessie's last, that'll be Chessie's last stand. We'll put her
yeah,
up there.
that's right, Chelsea. There you go.
I deserve that.
Okay, that's the second line item. And I think that's it. I think that's it. So we have,
Yeah, Nancy, you missed the other part.
I'm so turned upside down right now. I'm sorry. Just
no, that's,
losing my,
it's all good. It's all good. So,
Well, my dryer vent is clean.
Please put that in the record.
right, put that, we'll make,
All right,
if there's no more discussion, no more public discussion, can we have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn the meeting.
All in favor?
I.
I
I
Aye.
think we're good to go.